What's going on, guys? In today's video, we are doing donation videos. This is continuing the 1992 Neil Peart drum clinic from Irvine. And yes, I have a tiny microphone in my hand. So I'm still testing out this whole new system, experimenting, messing around with things. I wasn't crazy about the quality of the other 3 videos that I did with it. So I'm still messing around, trying different things. I've got other microphones that I may try. We'll see what happens. It's all an experiment. You guys can let me know. But today we are continuing requests from Lucinda, Ray, and Jesse. This 1992 drum clinic that Neil Peart did in Irvine, California, and I am on part 3 out of 5. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. In the description below, I got all kinds of things. Check out the description. If you like the channel, if you want to support the channel, all kinds of ways, you can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address. Awesome. And now doing donation videos just like this one. If there's something that you want me to check out, if there's something you want me to react to, something you want me to listen to, something you want me to talk on, a question, a topic, hit me direct, PayPal, Venmo. In the notes section, write a description, leave a link, tell me what you want, and I'll make a video. Awesome. Okay, so part 3 of this drum clinic that has all kinds of airplanes flying throughout it because they're in Irvine. They're right next to John Wayne Airport. I know that this exact venue isn't there anymore, right? But isn't it the same as they like turned it into something else, right? The people, California people, you know what I'm talking about? This, what did they call it? Irvine. I was gonna say Meadowlands. I'm like, this is it's not that, but it's something similar almost, right? Isn't that like Meadows or something? I don't remember. But I saw Dead and Company at this place, you know, more recently, probably like 5 years ago or something like that, 4 or 5 years ago. Anyways, all right, let's check this out. This is part 3. Bam.
Yeah, I guess that's about all to say on that one. I'll just do it.
He's about to get into bravado, I think. That's where we're at.
Oh, here's an interesting choreographic move too. Is snare comes on and off. Snare strands have to come on and off throughout the song. So there are places where I've choreographed a left-hand swing, and one reason why it's so hard for me to switch from this old Slingerland, because it has the handiest, smoothest snare action, where I can catch it on the way by and switch it on and off, and not have to. Guys, I need an extra bar in this song so I can turn the snare on or off. You know, I find that with a lot of strainers, so it's one reason that's kept me with this. Apart from loving its power and sensitivity, it's one thing that the snare strainer, as old as it is, and it's one thing that drives Larry nuts, is trying to find parts for a thing that hasn't been made for. 10 years or so, and the snare drum I bought secondhand for $60 in about 1976 or something. So keeping parts for it is difficult, but it's one of those challenges.
That helmet is like, it's crazy. I'm like, does it actually work in saving your head? Just not the side of your head. Oh, we're doing the big money.
Oh yeah, hang on, wait.
Go back.
Set up for a second. Just I'll run through what we have here.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
This is a bongo sample from my my first time ever playing bongos on records. So a lot of the samples I have are actually stuff of my own, but wouldn't fit in drum kit or wouldn't be practical to get to. This is an example of that. A bongo there, and down there is from the old days of the Simmons claptrap, an analog synthesizer where you can just create white noise, basically. And I use it like a studio engineer would use an effect behind the snare, usually hitting both at once, so it's just like an echo in here. Working with a producer, Peter Collins, who couldn't stand the sound of Simmons drums, so we looked for ways to get the tone. This started as a Simmons drum, and then I vocalized the actual sound I wanted. I said, well, I'm looking for sound. So I said, well, okay, we'll record that. And they recorded it, sampled it, and combined it with the tom sound. So it's
I mean, these are definitely production.
And then we wanted
tricks.
a percussive effect that was jingling coins. So English coins being so huge, just took a handful of coins, sampled them, and used them.
Yeah.
Anything else over there? No, there's no keyboards in that. So okay, that's the basic round of electronics that are coming
layering
into it.
sounds. Yeah, that's all
Ready now?
production. All right, big money. Glad he went over sounds ahead of time. Airplanes. composition, the drum composition, really. Looks like his glasses are falling off. I mean, it's a little fuzzy to tell, but. Driving.
there's another example too of a 4 on the floor not being a limitation, but rather being a foundation, where I'm able to keep that going and consequently get from there over to here without losing the tempo, without losing the flow of things. Okay, I guess we might as well come around. Prepare to come about. Don't try this at home. So essentially, I mentioned before that I was a little bit reluctant with electronics, and I've talked about it in print and stuff before, so I won't go over it too much again, just saying that I didn't go with electronics till I could no longer resist it, basically. When it became possible for me to have every percussion instrument I own, and even ones I've never even seen before as samples, I couldn't say no any longer. So I started adding them, but at the same time I wasn't willing to sacrifice even one acoustic drum, because that's the fundamental thing after all. These other things make nice accessories, and they make it possible to have a drum set I can reach that includes marimba, and that includes gongs, and that includes African drums, includes tablas, and every other thing I could possibly want, really, but I can still get at it. So
Is it tablas?
For that reason, I just said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And as we came into sampling, now we're using the Akai samplers, and the Roland samplers off stage are the ones that I'm triggering keyboard-wise. What I'm going to run through now is basically opening of my drum solo, which began as a marimba piece. Usually when we're in the studio writing and rehearsing, I like to dabble in something else, and marimba makes a great escape from both lyric writing and for drumming. So a lot of times I'll get a small synthesizer and just create a sequence of chord patterns that I like or that I find challenging or whatever, and I'll make this sequence, and then I'll have my marimba in there, or the Cat MIDI marimba, and just when I get too much brain fever from staring at the computer screen or from working on drum parts, I go and play along with that. So this came out of a piece called Momo's Dance Party that was all sequenced drums and sequenced keyboards and everything, and then the marimba part was played over it live. And in this case I decided I still am not willing to take the step into using a sequencer live, even in a drum solo context. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to make the best real-time situation, combining all these that I can. So it's a combination of basically Latin and African drums over here. My timbali had to get jettisoned to put this floor tom here, so it lives on in sound. And then over here we have a combination of congas and bongos, which actually survived from a song of ours called Scars, where I made up a whole drum part made of samples. And this one,
I just heard
one
that.
of those ones I mentioned, it's called a djembe. I have no idea what it looks like, but I love the sound.
He doesn't know what
And
a
this one
djembe
is,
looks like. That's
the
interesting.
deep kind of root of the thing in an African rhythm. What
didn't
would
go to
be
college?
the one, basically. And then combined with acoustic, sometimes acoustic snare, bass drum, hi-hat, and then I also have this very snare sampled out of a song of ours called Grand Designs. It was done for the purposes of the song Scars, because I had my hands full basically playing all the conga and bongo parts and so on. So when I wanted to bring the snare in to kick the backbeat in for extra emphasis, I put it down there for that, and I found it quite useful in this context, that when I get over onto the marimba, it gives me a snare and bass drum, basically a rhythmic continuity allowing it. There's another place too where the sound man's helping me out, because in the beginning of it I wanted something that was quite atmospheric, that would allow me to build a drum solo basically from an arrhythmic sense. So I would just start with sounds and moods and set up the tribal sort of basic mood. And in a way I construct a drum solo partly as an autobiography of all the things that have interested me in drumming over the years, and also partly in an unpretentious way, but as a history too of drumming as it has evolved and as I've learned it. So I thought I wanted to start with this very tribal thing and have it be arrhythmic at first, and then gradually bring rhythm into it, and then gradually bring melody into it. And then as the drum solo evolved throughout, it went into all the evolutions of marching drumming and a taste of jazz drumming here and there, and different ideas of rock drumming and Caribbean drumming, reggae drumming, and so on. So I'm going to play the intro for you, and then we'll spin around and I'll get on to the outro and leave out all the flash stuff in the middle. But basically the sound man is covering me here, where I've got just I begin with just that, and then through the house, in an arena for instance, we would have a quad system, so he sends that around the house when she sits around the house. So the sound man's covering for me there, and I can build up my little fills, as I'll demonstrate in a second, and then gradually evolve it into a complete rhythm, and then develop that rhythm, and then bring melody into it. So I'm beginning basically, as I get introduced, I'm starting just with the chimes here, and then boom, 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 boom.
So it sounds like that's part one of his drum solo, and I suppose that'll get picked up in the next video. Very cool, very cool. Seeing Big Money was great. That, I mean, especially just all of this from this perspective is really cool, especially if you're a drummer or you're into the drums like me. I'm into the drum. I'm not a drummer, but I'm into it. I think it's really cool. Yeah, I'm glad they went over the sounds first, so you're kind of not in the dark of that kind of thing. So that was great. Yeah, it was very cool. All right, continuing on. The next part 4, coming out tomorrow. I'll catch you guys then later.